Hello and welcome to another tutorial of SystemVerilog in 5 minutes. Today we'll talk about function and task. As usual, we'll start with something we're familiar with. There are three variables, a, b, and the result. We assign a and b to some values and the result is a plus b. And we do this multiple times. As a general rule of thumb, if you have repeated execution code, you should refactor it by creating a function. This is how you create a simple function. This is the function name and this is the function execution. After that, you can replace the code here with function call. Now, why bother creating a function, especially when the original code looks much simpler? In my opinion, this is one of the hardest mindset to instill upon coder, especially beginner. The example here is simple, but this should not be a reason not to create a function, as you probably will do the same with the more complex code. Regardless of the complexity of the code, if you made a mistake, for example, if result equals a minus b, or if you need to modify the code like printing messages, without function, you will have to do it in multiple places. With a function, you will only need to fix it in the one function. Looking at the code here, it is in general a big, messy code. The module contains variable a and b, the initial block modifies a and b, and the function uses a and b. We can move a and b to the function as argument. A and b are then handled by the function internally, and the code looks somewhat cleaner. The module does not contain the variables directly, and the initial block does not need to modify the variables anymore. And now the keyword void. The syntax here means return type, and void means the function does not return anything. You can change it to return value such as int, and then you have to change the function call like this. The function with return value looks more complicated, but it has an advantage. The original function modifies the result variable directly. It is therefore not reusable for any other variables. The one with return value is comparatively independent and reusable. For example, if you have a new variable c, you can use the function to get the addition result and return it to c. Now let's talk about the concept of variable lifetime. The function here contains a variable a. It increments the variable in the execution. The function is then called 3 times. First time it is called a is 1, the second time a is 2, and the third time a is 3. This behavior is different from common software language. In common software, variable is created during function call. But in SystemVerilog, variable is considered as a hardware signal. It is created from the beginning until the end. If you wish for software behavior, you can use the keyword automatic. With that, a variable is created when the function is called and it is destroyed when the function ends. In this example, a is always 1 every time the function is called. Alternatively, you can use automatic keyword at module level. Now let's talk about task. This is a function example and this is a task example. This is how task is defined and it is pretty similar to a function. There are two differences. First, function supports return value and task does not. You can use a function in this manner, but you cannot do the same with task. Second, task can have delay and timing control, but function cannot. For example, you can add delay in the task execution like this. Whereas for function, any delay has to be handled outside of a function. Generally speaking, a void function is the same as a task if the task has no delay execution. However, due to the timing capability of a task, you have to be careful dealing with function call and task call. A function cannot call a task. However, a task can call a function. This is a simple function with two arguments a and b. It only displays the value of a and b. You can write the same function in this manner. B will follow a in type, which is an int. You can totally remove all variables type, which is not recommended. Well, in that case, by default, a is logic and b follows just the same. There are two ways to call a function or task. The first one is by position and it is pretty common. The second one is by argument name. You use dot operator to specify the argument and bracket to specify the value. In general, this promotes readability. Argument can have a default value. This is the same function as above, but b has a default value 1 here. Calling this function is the same as before. In addition, you can call the function by simply providing value to a, and b will take the default value 1. This is the same, but this is by argument name. In summary, function and task are used to define reusable routine. Function has return value but cannot contain timing control. Task, on the other hand, has no return value but can contain timing control. Next, we'll continue by discussing about the argument direction.